muted. You're still muted. Well, we can make up all different names of who that is. Maimonides, I don't know, all sorts of fun stuff.
She doesn't know, she says, I think.
She knows she's muted. You don't know you're
I don't think
Teacher. That's okay. Here we go.
Okay, here I am. I'm not muted now.
Now you're unmuted.
Okay. It traveled all through Europe. It was my parents from Europe.
Whoa.
And it went all over the world, and I don't know who it is.
They brought it. It's from all. What?
It has gone to Europe. It has gone to Palestine. It has gone back to Europe. It has gone to South America. And it has come to the United States.
Wow. Amazing. I love that.
But I don't know who it is, and my parents never knew who it was either.
Well, it's a guardian angel, maybe.
Yes,
How about that?
Yes, for years he was on next to my bed. You're absolutely right.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. We got Brad. I see that we don't even have a picture of Brad today. Okay. Susan, we don't see. Well, you guys are like my B'nai Mitzvah students who don't like to turn on their phones or their cameras. That and my Uncle Freddie, right? 91 years old. They both do this with their.
That's why I love the masks. I'm getting out my face also. Goodbye.
Oh, boo! All right, let's do some blessings so we can jump in. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. May we soak ourselves in Torah, getting busy with Torah. Helen, seriously, you're killing me over here. All right, people. This is like we're back in the business. The beginnings of the Torah. We are in the juicy stories, all the prequels. These are the prequel stories that lead to everything that's going to happen in Egypt and then the wandering, but all this other, Kardashian-esque controversy needs to happen first, I guess. Tol'dot, generations. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen so we can take a look at the text. And there's always just some this story always gets me. It's people think of it as pretty straightforward, but I think it's far from straightforward. Wait, I gotta move this over here. I don't like the way this is set up. I'm gonna set y'all up this way so I can see you better. Put you here. I'm just moving you all around my computer so I can see everybody better. Let's see these guys. Last movement. All right. Now I'm with you. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna jump right in. Right? What is this story? This is the story of Jacob and Esau and Rebecca and Isaac and the quote unquote deception and whose fault is it? What happens here? All this fabulous and wonderful stuff. What? Brad, if you're going to drink some of that, you got to bring for everybody next time. Okay? That's how this works. You got to bring for everybody.
I don't think he heard you.
All right, here we go. Fascinating stuff right here. Right away. Isaac, this is before Rebecca is even pregnant. Isaac pleads with Adonai on behalf of his wife, Rebecca, because she was barren. And Adonai responded to his plea, and his wife, Rebecca, conceived. Okay. Here's my question right away from this. Do we think, why is this a plea? Why is this a plea? Here's why I'm asking this. Isaac pleaded. A plea is not so much of an ask, right? A plea, there feels a lot more urgency in a plea, right? And then his wife conceives. Where is Rebecca in this? Do we think, is this something Rebecca is pleading for as well? Is this what she wants? Is this what she is hoping for? Or is this solely a thing coming from Isaac? And if it's solely coming from Isaac, why is it Isaac pleading on behalf of his wife as opposed to with his wife? Where is her plea? Where is her plea? If this or is she getting lost in this request? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Penina, why are you shaking your head at me? Go ahead. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, first of all, it says לנוכח אשתו, it means that she was there, right there. And she's like a witness to what he said. And I think that the whole thing is repeating the story of Abraham to show the importance of these people. So they're showing you like the same way that Abraham and Sarah was begging for a baby, for a child. Now Isaac with his wife, Rebecca, because she didn't, apparently till the point of this request, she didn't bear any children. So, and God listened to them, and then Rebecca became pregnant.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah, so I think it's a repetition to show the importance of Yitzhak and Rebecca in the whole development of the faith that we have today.
The development. So you think here they're on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. That is a very big statement to say we think that they are on the same page here, because that doesn't last, does it? That doesn't last. Before we actually keep going, look at the text. We're gonna do something. I just want to see. I'm gonna stop a share. Can somebody, because I want to see what our understanding of this text is. What happens in this text from this point until the end of the giving of the birthright? Give me just like a little bit of an overview. Who can give us just a quick overview?
So
Me, go ahead.
before we start the overview, you didn't start at the very beginning of the chapter.
You're right.
This is the story of Isaac, son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. That's an important introduction because it lists the history. Then
Okay.
Isaac pleaded on behalf of his wife because his wife was barren, which that we have to know too, in the history of barrenness from Sarah and the importance of generations. So that's the backstory. And then because of his plea, Rebecca conceived.
Fabulous, Susan. So let me ask you this though, okay? Because this is good. What makes us think though that Rebecca and Isaac are on the same page, especially what transpires moving forward?
Well, they are.
Right? Well, were Sarah and Abraham were on the same page, where Sarah was even active in like, let's do this with Hagar, let's see what we got, let's hook this up. We never hear about Rebecca's yearning for this. We hear about it from Sarah's yearning. We hear about it later from Leah and Rachel, their yearning, but we don't hear about the yearning of Rebecca. And I think that is significant.
I think we assume she was.
Oh, you know what happens when we make assumptions, Susan. Don't be making assumptions.
She wasn't a career lawyer. She was not trying to be the head of a corporation, but she was part of this lineage, and that's what Tol'dot is about as well. So, and she had been married to Isaac already for something like 10 years, and she was getting into a no spring chickenhood, which was the same with Sarah. But why would she not? Now she had problems, and she was saying, they were struggling in the womb. And then she said, why am I conceiving while I'm going through this torture with these
He
two?
doesn't say that.
Well, she said she inquired of the Lord. She said the children struggled in her womb. And she said, if so, why do I exist?
Yeah, okay, see, now we're moving on. All right, okay. Here we go. Brad, are you raising your hand? What are you doing? You're just showing off your empty bottle. Stop it. Okay, let me share this.
Well,
text
but
again.
I mean, I would say that this is a story about Isaac, and we're told that's from the very beginning that it's Isaac. Isaac pleaded with Adonai, so I don't know why we're reading more into it than
How
is
are we
in the
reading
text.
more into it? Look at this, Brad, with Sarah and Hagar, and their voices there.
Yeah, there aren't here.
And they aren't here, but they are later with
Well,
Rachel and Leah.
okay,
So
but
that's why
they're not.
I'm
They're
making
not
I'm
here.
making I am making a distinction between all three of those stories and all three of those families. Right? So right away, it never seems like Rebecca is in it to win it to me as a family. Rebecca's never in it to win it as a family. Right? This where you get all this drama from, and it's gonna be. So I'm gonna David, go ahead, and then we're gonna read. I want to read again what Susan started reading for all of us, because I got it right here on our.
Well, you could give a counter, you could make a counter argument to that, which is that she turns out to be sort of a hatchet as this goes along. She complains, she manipulates things, she makes this parsha turn out the way she wants it to turn out, although it ends with the last note, which is don't let him marry the wrong girl. So she's a restless, unhappy woman, let's say. I'm giving a counter argument here.
Yes.
So in my mind is you don't need to have her. For you see what happens. Isaac is the least powerful of the patriarchs, right?
Correct.
Put upon. He's just saying, Adonai, help me out here. She's killing me. And that's why she's not here, because it's worse. It's not that they're not on the same page. It's that her page is a lot bigger and more vivid than his page. So I'm just making conversation here, but there is another way to look at this based on, you asked what happens in this parsha. This parsha, she takes.
Yes. So you said a couple things. David, back it up. Back it up a little bit. What did you say about Rebecca? How did you
She's a hatchet.
can you tell me more about that?
She takes charge of situations,
Yeah.
certainly the situations with the boys,
Yeah.
and makes them come out the way she wants, not the way
Okay.
to come out.
So let's great, fabulous, wonderful. What does that mean? Explain what did she want and what happened? Because this is where it gets murky. We don't realize it's murky, but it's murky. Go,
Well,
David.
she wanted the son that she prefers to have the birthrights.
Okay.
Have the first position, and that violates the order that they came out of the womb. So she's disrupting the traditional order.
Whoa. Okay. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Good.
Was she?
Was she disrupting the order?
Yeah.
Certainly, if you just let it roll without any interference, Esau is going to have his birthright not sold, and he's going to have the blessing not stolen. So, but in Esau's not sharp enough to protect his birthright, and she's too sharp to let him get the blessing.
Okay, so that's okay. So we've got a bunch of different things here. We've got she wants what she wants, and she's going to manipulate the situation to create what she wants because Isaac is the weakest of the three, quote unquote, weakest of the three patriarchs, which we see a little bit later as well. Hold on, Panina. Let me just give me just
I
a
didn't
second.
say a
You're
word.
ahead of me.
I waited my turn. I
You're
didn't say a
fit.
word. Okay.
We got this. She's okay. Then we have there are two different things here, which I find fascinating: birthright and blessing. Birthright and blessing. Are those the same? Are those the same? Are those the same? Okay, we're gonna. David's shaking his head. I'm gonna go Panina. I'm gonna go Brad. I'm gonna go Susan. Panina, you're up. Then Brad. Then Susan.
Okay. I think that they gave it this specific part that she is owning it right now because out of her there is going to be another nation showing in the picture. Till then, we only had this legacy of Abraham, Isaac, and now we have a different legacy. There is going to be Esau in the picture, which is another nation. So that's why I think that they gave her that part, because this is where the what's left after they pass away, the picture is different. There isn't only one nation that Isaac is in charge of. Now there is going to be two, and the two exist still today.
And what about Ishmael from Abraham and Abraham, Sarah,
And
Isaac?
also, he took his turn when that story was there, but now it's a different story. Now it's the story of Isaac and Rivka.
Right. So Isaac was the second son.
I don't think that they disqualify what was before. I think they're just presenting you another nation, another point of entrance of another nation. They're not negative in any way regarding to what was before. They're only presenting you now with a new factor. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for that point. I'm going to consider it and I'll share some other ideas. Brad, then Susan. Thank you, Pina.
Yeah, I'm coming back to your question.
Bring it.
Which was the difference between the birthright and the blessing.
Go.
There is a difference here, and I'm not quite sure what that's all about. I mean, Esau first sells his birthright because he's hungry. And then on his deathbed, Isaac is tricked into giving the blessing to Jacob.
Yeah.
So they do seem different. It seemed like they're different, and I don't know why you need the second after the first. You'd think that the first, the sale of the birthright, would have sufficed, but we have this second episode, and I'm not quite sure why it's needed.
Well,
So,
perhaps it's
but
because he doesn't have the right to. Does he have the right to give away the birthright, to sell the birthright? That's not. Is that even up to him? He don't even have it yet. He's selling it on spec. He doesn't even have it, and it's not his yet to quote unquote sell. Is that even a thing you could do? Hold on, Panina. I want to give Susan a chance. Then I got you.
Sure.
Sorry, Brad. Did you finish your point? I didn't want to mean to cut you off.
Well, I'm not sure I disagree with your statement there. I mean, he has agency. Esau has agency, and why doesn't he have the right to sell that birthright? I disagree with that.
But it's not his yet.
What do you mean it's not his yet?
I mean, the birthright hasn't been given to him yet.
I think the birthright is
Comes from the father, not from the brother.
Yes, because he's the eldest, he has the birthright, period.
So that means he can't give rid of it. He's the eldest. Once you get it,
why?
then you can do something with it. Then you can start giving away stuff.
I think
But
he's
before you
born.
even receive it,
He's born with it.
then how does giving a blessing negate that?
I'm not saying it negates it. I'm not sure what it adds.
Okay. Go, Susan.
So, I read some Rabbi Sachs, which I think is wonderful, and they are two different things. A birthright is, as it says, your right of birth, which is primogeniture, which is you're the firstborn and you get the property. So that was something, and a blessing is a blessing, for goodness sakes. Jacob blessed his 12 sons, and that wasn't a birthright, those were blessings. And I think there's a difference. And I want to defend Isaac, and I'm doing it in the name, I shouldn't say the name because I don't have the authority, but of what I read from Rabbi Sachs. And he praises Isaac as, yet he wasn't an innovator but he had continuity. And isn't that what Tol'dot is about? The continuity of generations. And he stayed in Israel. He stayed in the land, and he dug wells. And he says that he was courageous when the inhabitants undug the wells that his father Abraham dug. He went and redug them. So there's a kind of tenacity and continuity there. And he's a quiet hero, let's put it that way. He's not Abraham trucking from a different land, but he's ensuring the continuity of the Jewish people between Abraham and Jacob. And I also want to revive Rebecca's reputation. I think she's terrific. And she doesn't decide who's going to be the leader. She hears from God about it, that the second one will be the leader. So I think she's steadfast in that belief and is really preserving not yet called Judaism, but the Jewish people. And what happened to the rabbi? David?
Oh, the rabbi has disappeared.
He disappeared.
We are leaderless.
He didn't want to hear from me.
Is that- Oh, Rabbi Eshel, come back. Where are you?
Yeah.
He must be having the same computer problems I'm having.
No,
Yeah.
to be
It looks like I'm on in two places, but I'm not.
There he is.
There is Dave. Is he back?
Oy vavoy, oy vavoy. I got too excited that I knocked on the wires and the whole thing shut down. You see what you
Good,
did
come
to me?
fix my computer at our
You
house.
see what you did to me? You get me too cuckoo over here. I got too excited. What did I miss?
Me.
Susan,
Nina says nothing.
Susan, you did okay. Finish your thought.
So I had expressed it already that Isaac, first of all, there was a difference between birthright and a blessing.
Okay, go.
And Jacob did blessings.
What's the difference? You were in the middle of explaining it, and I got cuckoo.
So birthright is primogeniture, and then I stood up for Isaac. Because of continuity of generations. He wasn't an originator, but he stayed in Israel and assured the continuity of the Jewish people.
Oh, you're bringing up some fabulous, interesting points. Read my Shabbat message later today, Susan.
Okay, yeah, but that was from Jonathan Sachs, which I gave credit for. So, and
I'm gonna go Merle, Brad, and then I got it. We got to get back to one of David's comments because we barely even got going here.
I'm thinking back to the question, are they the same? I think just because you have the birthright, whatever the birthright to an individual might be, doesn't mean you're blessed.
Right.
Interesting.
I mean, you could have the birthright and have lots of problems that eliminate blessings in your life.
Right.
Thank you. That's all.
Yeah, man, that's deep right there, Merle. I like it.
It's the social work point of view.
Okay. All right, Brad, and then David, I see you're itching over there, and then I gotta show you something. And it's right there in front of our face. Go, Brad.
I just think there's a basic concept here with the blessing that only one of them is going to get the blessing. So the blessing is conferring something on one and not on the other. So I'm not sure, why wouldn't you bless both of your children?
Correct.
I,
But Esau does end up getting a blessing. It's just different.
why does it seems to me again that it's tied in with the primogenitor issue is my reading of it.
Okay.
And as to Rabbi Sachs, that was mentioned a minute ago, doesn't he explain that there's a lot of ambiguity about who is going to be the first? Because we read it, I think, on a very simplistic level. He takes a much deeper dive into the etymological confusion about what that statement is really saying.
Great.
And the ambiguity of it.
David, you got something before I read something?
No, go on.
Okay, so right here it says, but the children struggled in her womb. Right there in the beginning, it's setting it all up. But the children struggled in her womb, and she said, if so, why do I exist? Oy. She went to inquire of God. So now she's actually talking to God. Well, you didn't talk to God before. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But here you are doing it now. She went to inquire of God, and God answered her. 2 nations are in your womb. 2 separate peoples. This is what Penina was saying. 2 separate peoples shall issue from your body. 1 people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. So, is this actually Rebecca doing what she wants, or is she just trying to fulfill what God has already said to her? That she is like the agent of God creating and fulfilling this quote unquote prophecy. It's right here as it is. So she said, well, if this is what God wants, and this is what God's telling me, and I'm here over here, maybe I need to nurture my relationship with the younger, because the younger is the one who is going to be served by the older, and I got to make sure that this happens. And then we've got this thing, okay, now I'm going to sell the birthright. She doesn't even know anything about that's already put into motion. So perhaps, because of the fact that she doesn't even know this, then when it's time for Isaac, he's like, oh, so all this time to give up, gotta give the blessing. She's like freaking out, being like, oh man, God told me this, but I don't see it happening. Maybe that means I have to take some responsibility to help create it, to help fulfill it. Do you see what I'm saying, David? You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let David respond, and then I got you, Penina.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And I want to go back to Susan's excellent point about continuity, because as parents, for discussion, assume that Isaac knows what's going on. He knows he's being fooled. And that he and his wife are either explicitly or implicitly in it together. They got to pick the right guy to lead the nation. And they see one guy's a sort of roughneck out in the woods, stupid enough to give up his birthright. You can't make him the leader. You got to pick the one who's responsible. So together they conspire.
What's responsible? Okay, keep going.
They conspire to get the right guy to go forward.
Where do you see that? Isaac later loses it. He's so
but you know what? He also goes all along the way. I don't recognize the voice. I don't recognize the skin. He's skeptical every step of the way. Oh, and one of my favorite lines in all of Torah, how'd you get this meal together so fast? Your God helped me. That's what it is. Your God blessed me, right? It's like Isaac is skeptical of the whole thing. He's old and blind and on the edge of his life, but he knows something fishy's going on, and he lets it.
Okay. So you think he's playing three-dimensional chess with us?
I think that between them, they know how it has to be for the future
Wow.
of the nation.
David, I feel like that's a hot take. Panina, go ahead.
Okay. There is a saying that says, "En mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah." There is no in the Torah early and late. That sometimes telling you stories about something that's already there. And I never believed in if questions. So I see here a situation where the kids, the babies were already not on the same page as far as the religion to continuation of a nation supposed to come. In other words, they each had their own way. So you have the one nation that's already bigger and a lot more people, and then there is the Rebecca, who was supposed to be the continuous of the faith, according to like Sarah, because she was brought into Sarah's tent. So she was supposed to continue like Sarah, kind of like take Sarah's place. So you have here a nation who is going to be, how do you call it, hunters, and a nation who are going to be more nature, next to a nation that's going to be maybe low, the learning type, that kind that's going to be learning how to give the continuation of the Ten Commandments and expand it. And there is the story is about something that already happened. And because they're already saying you that one of them became bigger than the other. So whenever they find the piece of stone that will reinforce the story, or no matter where there is a scroll, the text shows us that something here happened, that one nation did become bigger than the other, and that both of them did not have the same faith and the same target as the other one.
Okay.
One took like the other. So you
Okay.
actually have a situation that's already happened. It says that it's already happening. It's so one was became bigger and one
One will become bigger, yes.
bigger in numbers and also be bigger. No, bigger in number. The
Okay.
said so, bigger in numbers.
Okay.
But the
Got you.
Torah, the application of the Torah and the application of the thing is already telling you that here it where the split began. The split was there already, and now it became more noticeable as the nation became older and bigger.
I think you're giving too much credit to the split having its own life, right? They're doing it
Well,
themselves.
that's
But
what
then
the
my
Torah
question
did.
becomes, check this
Okay.
out though. Here's
All right.
what happens. What is the deal with Jacob?
The story was told later.
Hold on, let me
They're
finish
based-
hold on, Panina. Let me finish over here. What is the deal with Jacob being like, first sell me your birthright? And Esau is, I'm at the point of death. So what use is this birthright to me? And Jacob said, swear to me first. He swore it and he sold the birthright to Jacob. And Jacob then gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank, and he rose and went away. Thus did Esau spurn the birthright. Okay, so we have here that Jacob is already being a bit conniving. So do we think he's also in on this already? Because later on, he's like, I don't think this is a good idea that we should be tricking dad. There's such a disconnect, I feel, from what's going on here than what happens later as they get older. Do you think this is just kids like messing with each other, like young siblings messing with each other? Or do we really think that Jacob is in on this and he's using the term birthright? He's already been in, his mom's been in his ear the whole time. You are this, God told me, right? And then, all right, we're gonna jump ahead to this other part. Don't read what I'm scrolling because this is a little bit later. Don't read what I'm scrolling. Don't read it. Okay, here we're back. Says, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, I overheard your father speaking to your brother Esau, saying, bring me some game and prepare a dish for me to eat, that I may bless you with Adonai's approval before I die. Okay. Is there really with Adonai's approval? Didn't Adonai already tell Rebekah that the older shall serve the younger? Where do we not see that? Did God say the same thing to Isaac? Or is this supposed to be, like David was saying, Rebecca is the one who's putting this in motion, and he, again, like he's always been and always will be, just kind of like hey, all right, let's see what happens. I mean, that's cool, fine, right? Because what I'm about to share with you also, the part that we scrolled past was, there's a famine again, always with these famines. When there's a famine with Abraham, what does Abraham do? He goes down to Egypt, right? When there's a famine with Jacob and the sons, what happens?
He does the same thing.
He sends them all down, and then Jacob comes down to the. When there's a famine with Isaac, what does God say to Isaac? Just stay where you are. Stay where you are. This is the land. I'm gonna make you a great nation here. Just don't worry. The same place. He didn't say that to Abraham. He didn't say that to Jacob in such a way, but God intervenes and says to Isaac, which again, does this speak to the character of Isaac? Does this speak to the type of person he was? The strength, the lack of strength, the weakness, whatever it is. Okay. Now I'm going to keep reading. Bring me some game and prepare a dish for me to eat before I die. Now, my son, listen carefully as I instruct you. Go to the flock and fetch me 2 choice kids, and I will make of them a dish for your father, such as he likes. Then take it to your father to eat, in order that he may bless you before he dies. Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, but my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I'm smooth-skinned. If my father touches me, I shall appear to him as a trickster and bring upon myself a curse, not a blessing. All right. But his mother said to him, your curse, my son, be upon me. Just do as I say and go fetch them for me. And he got them and brought them to his mother. What's going on here? What is this relationship between Jacob and his mother? Does Jacob want to do this? Does Rebecca really think that it's going to turn out to be a curse? Yeah, give me the curse. It's fine. When she knows what's going to happen, she knows that Jacob's going to. But Jacob here is like, well, my dad's going to think I'm a trickster. He's going to like, man, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. Is he saying that because he really is afraid to be considered a trickster, or is he afraid to get caught? Because the first thing he says was like, check me out. I'm not hairy like my brother. I'm going to get caught. All right, I just threw a ton at you. I just threw a ton. Who wants to jump in for Brad? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, to me, she's Lady Macbeth in training.
She's just doing what God said.
She is overstepping, to put it mildly.
What?
God doesn't need her to have his way.
Why not?
He doesn't need her assist.
Why?
Because he's God.
So? Dad, give me 100% on my math test. Give me 100% of my math test. I get my math test back and I got an F. 0. Why?
So
because God, I had to do the studying and do the work to make it happen. God's like, sure, you can get 100% of your math test, but you got to do something about it. So God says to Rebecca, yeah, your younger is going to rule the older, but if you just sit back, it's not going to happen. You got to get to work. I don't know, Brad, I cut you off. Go.
So I
hold on, Susan. I'm sorry, I cut off Brad. My bad.
No, you didn't cut me off.
Yes,
Susan, go ahead.
Yes, okay. You're selling your birthright to Susan to go first.
Oh, Brad, I can't take it as Lady Macbeth. I mean, there are 2 different motivations here, for goodness sake. One is personal and kingdom aggrandizement, and this is a woman following God. And yes, God does need Rebecca, and he needs the women. We're partners with God, as the Kabbalists put it. He needs us. God needs us to try and perfect the world, and needs us, and certainly women. How can you go forth and multiply without us, women? So I think he needs her, and I think Rebecca's a hero with this. Jacob is concerned about, rightfully so, about getting caught, and maybe about being a trickster. And this starts the whole process, because he becomes a trickster, more of a trickster later, and is tricked, and runs into problems with that. But I think at this point, Rebecca is doing God's wish, and I see her as a hero, and maybe a heroine, and maybe an antithesis of Lady Macbeth.
Ho ho! Go, Brad. You get to rebut.
Okay. Well, she didn't have to use trickery. Why couldn't she just go to Isaac and say, as David has pointed out, look out, look, the one who really deserves the blessing is Isaac, and explain to him why. Why does she have to resort to trickery instead of persuasion?
So you're blaming her as opposed to Isaac, this like schlemazel over here, who's like, yeah, okay, God says my father and my son, they can go down to Egypt during the famine, but maybe I should just sit still, this little, take care of business over here. I'll dig some wells instead. Continue
Yes.
continuity. So you think she's okay? She should have just used her words and spoke to Isaac. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
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 All right. I mean, this guy. Okay, go ahead, David. Go.
You go back to what I was saying before. Imagine them sitting around before bed at night, and she's going, Esau's not the right guy to be taking things forward. He said, well, there's a system, there's an order, there's a birthright, we got to go do it the right way. She goes, yeah, we don't need to do it the right way. And so there's an understanding between them. That's my contention.
But he wasn't even the firstborn. Isaac wasn't even the firstborn. He should have been like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Because I wasn't the firstborn. My brother Ishmael was the firstborn. He should have got everything.
Yeah, but it's a different mother. That's complicated genetics. This is complicated. This is complicated family dynamics.
Okay, all right. I see where you're going. I see where. But Isaac, why would he even think that Jacob would be the best? Because he favored Esau. He's like, look at my son. That's my boy. Look at him running around and hunting stuff. Yeah, that's my boy. He's like one of those dads who's living out their failed fantasy of playing baseball through their children and being like one of those sports dads in the bleachers.
That's why the birthright is an important thing. Let's assume that everybody in the story knows that, because that shows negligence. That shows carelessness with regard to the things that do matter to Isaac. And I think story is there. That story is there to show that, pushed to extremes, Esau doesn't have the long-term judgment to run things.
So could it be then this whole thing is just theater because Esau's already given up the quote unquote birthright, then to be blessed with that specific birthright, right? The birthright is what he's being blessed with, right? And then Esau's blessed with something else because he didn't get that blessing. And once you get the blessing, you can't get no give backs, anything like that. So, but it's all theater because Esau's already given it up. So they didn't even have to do all this shenanigans.
Well, I think the distinction that was made before by Susan is a useful one, which is the birthright has to do with primogeniture and the blessing has to do with a gift of what to do with that primogeniture. and that there's a difference between those two, and that the throwing away the first one shows that you don't deserve the second.
Throwing away the first doesn't means that you don't deserve the second.
No, indicates that you don't deserve it. Throwing away the birthright indicates that you don't
deserve the blessing. So, but the blessing is the blessing over the birthright. Like the motzi is the blessing over the challah. Right? The challah is the birthright. And the blessing is the motzi.
Okay.
It's the sanctification of the thing itself.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay, so so this had to happen. What if this had to happen because David, you hooked me up today, because Esau gave away the birthright. It now belonged to Jacob. So in order to sanctify that, he needed to get that blessing, the sanctification of the birthright, because it no longer belonged to Esau. So if he gave the blessing, the sanctification of a thing that no longer belonged to Esau, it would be for nothing. I'm going to say motzi over a challah that's, actually an apple. So I messed it up.
Yeah. Or you pull the matzah cover off and there's no matzah. What are you going to do?
That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Matzah's terrible. Binds me up. I don't like it.
I love it.
Go ahead, Brad.
Well, but let's look to see the way the relationship between Isaac and Esau ends. It ends with Isaac bowing multiple times before Esau.
Okay.
So, there's a lot, like I say, as Rabbi said, there's a great deal of ambiguity in this text about the firstborn, the secondborn, who shall be first, etc., etc. So it doesn't end with Esau bowing to Isaac. It ends with Isaac bowing to Esau.
Because he's staying true to himself, being like, this is my guy. This is my guy. I don't care what's going on. I'm taking this to my death. This is my guy. But let's jump ahead. It's like Torah portions later. When Jacob and Esau get back together. Esau's like, man, I forgive you. I'm living a great life. You did me a favor. This is great. I have a wonderful life. Got the army, I got the wives, I got the family, I got my whole nation. This is great. And then he grabs Jacob and he's weeping. Oh, I missed you. I love you. I'm so sorry. Let's not keep these things between us again. We got to get together and everything like that. So Esau is like, I'm back in this to win this with you. You're my brother and I love you. Everything's great. And Jacob's response is like, yeah, I'll have my people call your people. We'll do a thing. Right? That's a little spoiler alert. That's what comes later. But, oh, man. So maybe we can't divide it like this. Who are the villains and the heroes of this story, or is everybody a bit of everything? There is no clarity, right? There is no clarity. What do we got? Ben, you've been so quiet today. I'm confused. Is there something wrong with your mic?
Rabbi, I am sitting here kvelling because when we were in studying with you, I had a phone call from my daughter returning from her OBGYN, and she just announced her pregnancy and upcoming marriage. So I've just got so much joy in my life
Oh,
not hard to study Torah, but I'm a little distracted.
that's
Bishad Tova,
sure.
Bishad Tova, Bishad
And that's
Tova.
all
That's
top secret news, so everybody's sworn to secrecy on the pregnancy.
You do realize that this goes out into the Ethernet, right? This goes out into the ether. It's been recorded.
well,
Rabbi, then bless
Ben,
me that I'll be okay.
congratulations. That's wonderful
you.
news, Ben. That's
Thank
great.
So I apologize to my classmates and to you, Rabbi, that I
no
brought that
apologies.
up.
Are you kidding? That's beautiful. Just make sure that your family dynamics, which I know it won't turn into this,
Yeah.
right? Because you're a fabulous dad.
I will not let that happen.
Amen. Don't you dare. 'Cause I know where you live. Ben, that's a wonderful reason to keep quiet today. I love it. And I'm glad I called you out because otherwise you wouldn't have said anything. All right, who wanted to what was I saying? I said, okay, are there heroes, are there villains, or is there's no such thing in these stories? Everybody's flawed. Everybody's flawed. It's just who's less flawed than the other at what time, and it ebbs and flows and all that kind of mishigas. Is that what we got here? Is that what this thing is trying to do? Sydney, was that a hand raise?
What?
I think
Yeah,
Sydney
I
raised her
would
hand.
say that they're all flawed, but they all are trying to follow what they believe is the word of God. And so they, even if they're all making mistakes, they're doing what they believe God wants them to do.
Okay, let me ask you this then. If that's the case, then do they believe they're making mistakes, or this is just we're able, as third party people reading it, experiencing it, saying, you're making a mistake, you're making a mistake. If they really think that they are fulfilling the word of God, do you think that they think they're making mistakes, or like the ends justifies the means? What you got, Sydney?
That's ambiguous. I think Rebecca is definitely a little more like ends justify the means. I don't know. I have to think about that for a little bit.
That the means are almost irrelevant. You do what you got to do because it's not even I'm trying to justify the end, right?
Right.
This has to be the end because this is what God said.
Right.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Who I saw, David, did you have a hand?
Yeah.
David and then Merle. And then
If you squint out the details of all these stories of second sons or third sons becoming, other than becoming the leaders, it seems to me what they're really saying is, what the stories are all really saying is, God projects what is going to happen, but you have agency along the way. You have to make the right decisions. You have to make judgments about who and what to do to fulfill God's vision for the people. So to me, villain or, who's a hero and who's not is less important than that. The characters have responsibility for creating their own story.
okay. Oh wait. Let me just see if I get this clear. Getting from point A to B is destined. Getting from the A to B, but the way that one gets from A to B, that's up to you to create that multiple path. There's like choose your own adventure, but B is always going to be the end point no matter what. But how you get there is going to be different. Is that what you're saying, David?
I think so. But if you assume that God knows and God is what God's promise of the future is the promise that will be fulfilled. But along the way, you got to make the right choices, pick the right people, do the right thing.
And what if you don't? What does that mean?
Then you end up, well, let's say you end up 40 years in the desert. There's certain obstacles
But that was necessary. 40 years in the wilderness was necessary.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. If you make the wrong choices, there will be setbacks.
So that means that there's no such thing as free will.
Yeah, there is.
Or it's perceived free will. You think you have agency, but really getting from A to B is always going to be what is destined. And you are just making some fun,
Yeah, but if you jump ahead to
decisions along the way, but it's irrelevant because every decision you make will eventually lead you to that point.
But go to Deuteronomy. In Deuteronomy, God makes clear that if you don't live right and do this right, you will be thrown out of the, you will be dispossessed of this birthright that you have. And only when you come back to God and come back to God's laws and God's commandments, then you will be accepted again. So it doesn't mean it's a free pass and you can just sit back and do whatever you want.
So yeah, so it's not a free pass. There's still like punishment and whatnot. You're still gonna get punished for what you're doing. But again, what's this? Is A and B not about an individual? A and B is about a collective. And within that collective, people are expendable within the choices that you make. I don't know, man.
But at key moments in the story, and this is a key moment in the whole story of the Torah, you got to pick the right person. You got to get the right guy. You have to make choices based on what you see in front of you, not what the formal rules are. That's why I go back to primogenitor versus who's the right guy. Chuck out primogenitor if it's not the right guy.
This is cuckoo. This is complicated. Oy vey vey. All right. I don't even remember the order I said, but we'll just make a new one up. We're gonna go Susan, and then Brad, you're gonna get the last word.
So there are so many questions that were raised here. On the one hand, we're raising free will, which David talked about, and Rabbi Artson talked about process theology. And if I can remember him correctly and hope to screw up, but it's something that God isn't necessarily, we're not mechanistic beings. We're not angels ordered by God in a mechanical universe. We're born with, in terms of God knowing, we're born with certain variables. Where we're born, who our parents are, how tall we're going to be, and those aren't changeable, unless you dye your hair. But for the most part, we're born in certain circumstances. What we do to get from the birth to the death, which isn't changeable, is up to us. So God may know that. God may be omniscient, but perhaps not omnipotent, and he's certainly not Voltaire controlling a clockmaker controlling the universe. So that's one thing. The other thing, I don't think they're heroes and angels in the people in the Torah. And all of these situations, family situations, are flawed. And starting with the dynamics of brothers, of siblings, actually sisters as well, and there's conflict. And I was upset with that initially when I was reading, and then came to understand that these are models that some of which we can follow and some of which we should avoid.
Yes.
Because
what
happens with these dynamics is not always positive. I mean, if not, in every one of these generations, they're brothers fighting one another, except for Menachem and
Ephraim.
and Ephraim, and that's why they're blessed on Shabbat, because they had peace. So there all these variables that come into it, and we have to learn from the stories what not to do, as well as what to do, and recognize these are human stories. And the Torah is an amazing mixture of history, of philosophy, of psychology, drama, and also morality and rules. So that's all integrated and work together. In any event, this is what not to do, perhaps.
Yeah. Thank you. Brad, bring us home, man.
Well, to me, the story is a palimpsest of Cain and Abel and Isaac and Ishmael. It's our third revisiting of the same theme, and with variations, of course. But to me, the message here, and this was one very common in the ancient world, is that the sins of the father are visited on future generations, that there's an element of fate going on here. Why, otherwise, why would we keep seeing the same ingredients happening again and again?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we're all living in the matrix and it's all just preordained and we think we have agency, but that's part of us not having agency is the fact that we think we have agency.
Well,
Joke's on us.
you're very Spinozan.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so we have to end on a better note. Wait a second. How many letters are there in the alphabet? Does anybody know? What's that,
In the
Ben?
regular alphabet?
Regular alphabet?
26?
26?
26. That's what people keep telling me, right? But for some reason, I only know 25. I don't know why. See what I did? See? Brad's not impressed. I don't know why. See? Why is it? Come on, Susan. Help me out. No? Also not impressed. Anyway, I'll work on them. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Ben,
shalom.
B'Shat
Thank you.
Tova, Mazel Tov. Sending everybody
you.
big hugs and love. I love it. Shabbat